Hello fellow Guardians, get prepared to put all Grandmaster content in checkmate. This is Old Man Sim here, and this time we're focusing on another Void Hunter build with an eye on destruction and support. With this build, you will be burning down enemies, staying invisible for that crucial revive, and producing infinite ammo for you and your team. Now I know what you're thinking. Sim, where are the Titan, the Arc, the Strand, and Stasis builds? Well, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, and swing by my Twitch where I play a lot of Destiny with other games mixed in to be informed when those videos are being recorded and will drop. Now with that out the way, let's get into the build. All right, everybody, let's get into the artifact mods. Now, when I'm recording this, we are in Season 21, Season of the Deep, but this is a build that will be viable afterwards. This will be a build that I used before. So let's just go through real quick the different artifact perks that I do choose for this build. They will change from season to season, but you'll be able to quickly figure out which ones you want to use for your build. Of course, we need an anti-barrier, so we have anti-barrier auto rifle because I will be using the 𝕃𝕀𝕍𝔼. I have unstoppable hand cannon. You can also choose unstoppable glaive if you like to use a glaive. We're not going to use a glaive here. And I have overload trace rifles because the build is built around the wave splitter trace rifle. As for the authorized mods, I picked Void and Strand because we will be using a Strand weapon and a Void weapon. This makes it to where if we want to use both armor mods, it only costs us 1 instead of 3. Since we are a Void build, we will be using Unto the Breach. Defeating a Void debuff target creates a Void Breach while your Void subclass is equipped. You'll be creating breaches. You'll be going over shield. It's just a really good mod. Also, Protective Breach is another one that you want to pick up and use. Picking up a Void Breach gives you an overshield or refreshes your existing overshield. So therefore, you create the Void Breach with Unto the Breach. You use Protective Breach to get the overshield. It also refreshes it as well. And then Counter Charge. Gain a stack of armor charge used on a champion. You'll be going against champions over champions over champions in Grandmaster content. So you definitely want to get this as well. So you'll be creating more of those armor charges and keeping an overshield at all times. I also chose Deeper Origins because, like I said before, I am using a 𝕃𝕀𝕍𝔼 in here, which does have Noble Deeds trait. So that will help out with that. And then also overcharged armory when weapons with unsated hunger, Nano Tracer rockets, Harmonic Renaissance, or Noble Deeds traits are always overcharged weapons when the modifier is active. So therefore, once again, it makes our 𝕃𝕀𝕍𝔼 even better when Noble Deeds is active. Next, another thing for the Void. Picking up a Void Breach causes your next source of Void damage to create a large weakening pulse. Supernova is a really cool perk. If you saw the other Void build I did for Hunters, it's another one that I picked for that. You'll be creating breaches. You'll be using breaches for your overshield, but you'll also be creating a weakening pulse when you do Void damage on an enemy. It helps do ag clear, helps kill more enemies. This helps do more destruction. And then another amazing perk, Squad Goals. Since we're Void, I will go over that part of it. Performing a finisher while you have Devoured grants Devour to nearby allies when your Void subclass is equipped. So with this build, we will be having Devour all the time, giving us health when we kill. But now it will be giving your teammates Void, which is essential. I'm sorry, giving your teammates Devour, which is essential when it comes to Grandmasters because it'll constantly keep them healed. It'll constantly keep you healed. Plus, like I said before, you're gonna get your overshield from your charges. So it's just absolutely phenomenal. Like you're going to be nearly unkillable with this build, and it's something you definitely need when it comes to Grandmasters. And before we get into the fragments and the different things within the subclass itself of Night Stalker, I'm going to go over the weapons I'm using real quick. I am using the auto rifle 𝕃𝕀𝕍𝔼, which has the hatchling rounds, it has Noble Deeds, it's Strand. So that way, the reason why I picked the other artifact perks that I did, it's just going to do more damage on Noble Deeds is procced, and for some reason you don't have any ammo for your Wave Splitter, which the Wave Splitter is what this build is built around. It is an exotic trace rifle. Its intrinsic trait is laser damage, has 3 power levels that oscillate while the trigger is held down, which means you'll always do a base damage over time, but sometimes you're going to do more damage, sometimes you're going to do less, but at the end of the day, it's going to even out. But it has supercharged battery. Collecting an orb of power grants a period of maximum power that starts with automatic reload. Sustained fire in this mode suppresses targets. So what this does is we'll be getting a lot of orbs. You'll pick up an orb, you'll have supercharged battery, so you'll always be doing max damage with this. You don't have to worry about the fluctuation. Plus, you're going to be suppressing your targets as you're holding down the fire on them. Really good. As a enhanced battery says a longer battery life. That's all you really need to know about the Wave Splitter. It's come back into popularity a little bit in the past few seasons. I think it's a really good gun. The thing that always keeps people from using it a whole lot is that fluctuation in damage. But if you're producing a lot of orbs and you keep supercharged battery up, you'll be doing amazing damage with this build. So this is one of my favorite weapons to use. And then of course I'm using a Void heavy. So in this one I'm using the Taipan, but you can use a Void rocket launcher, a Void, you can use your falling guillotine, you can use a corrective measure, you can use whatever you want in the Void slot. I like using the linear fusion rifle. I know they've been nerfed in previous seasons, but I still think that they're very viable. They're really good for boss damage. They're really good just for taking down enemies. This is one that I crafted with firing line and triple tap. Absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite weapons out there. All right, everybody, and for this build, we will be using the Shadow Shot Deadfall super ability in the Night Stalker subclass. When you tether foes to avoid anchor weakening and suppressing them for you and your allies, the Void anchors fired from Shadow Shot pull together the targets to an impact point, which then becomes traps and waits for prey. Void anchors have increased range and last longer. What this does weakens the targets, which the target takes increased damage and has their movement speed slowed. Afflicted combatants have difficulty firing accurately. It also suppresses them, which the target is taken out of any active abilities and cannot activate any abilities or movement modes while suppression persists. Afflicted combatants cannot fire their weapons when suppression overload champions are stunned. So what this is going to do, bring everybody together, allow everybody to do a lot of damage. It's going to stun overload champions. And I mean, all of y'all know what the tether does, but this is what we're going to use for our super. All right, onto the abilities. I like using marksman dodge, so it automatically reloads your weapon every time you dodge. Triple jump, obviously you can use any jump you want here, but a triple jump to me is OP for the hunter. And of course, we'll be using snare bomb, throw a smoke bomb, which attaches to surface and pings enemy radar, weakens targets on detonation. Weaken also, the target takes increased damage and has their movement speed slowed. On this, I also choose to use a suppressor grenade, an explosive grenade that suppresses, preventing targets from using abilities for a short time, which again, as we saw from the Deadfall, the target is taken out of active abilities and cannot activate any abilities or movement modes while suppression persists. Once again, you also throw your suppressor grenade and you'll be able to stun overload champions. Alrighty, on to the aspects. We're going to use vanishing steps, so dodging will make you invisible. So you'll go and you'll dodge, you'll reload, you'll also go invisible. Your radar range is a little bit reduced when you're invisible, but what more can I say? You just dodge, you go invisible, you go revive somebody. It's very, 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 very good aspect. And then of course, Stylish Executioner, which defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility and true sight. So we'll be throwing our suppression grenades to suppress enemies. We'll be using our deadfall. We'll be having other ways to suppress them. So we'll kill them, then we'll go invisible. So as you can see, our goal here is to go invisible as much as possible, stay invisible so we can freely move throughout the battlefield and take out those champions, take out those very hard enemies in a Grandmaster Nightfall. Alrighty, now on to the fragments. Finish your final blows, grant invisibility. This says everything itself. It'll grant you invisibility every time you do a finisher. Plus our armor piece that we'll be using, the exact armor piece, granting finishers will create ammo. So it's kind of a dual thing. You'll go in there, you hit the finisher, you'll go invisible, you create the extra ammo. Just it's more things that keep you alive and also keeps you invisible and able to move around the playing field. Next, Echo of Domineering. After suppressing a target, you gain greatly increased mobility for a short period of time and your equipped weapon is reloaded from reserves. Defeating suppressed targets creates a void breach. Plus it also gives you 10 discipline, which allows your grenades to come back faster. So as before, we said we're going to be suppressing enemies. Once we suppress enemies, you'll have increased mobility. Your weapon will automatically be reloaded. You'll kill the target, you'll get a void breach. You get the void breach, you'll be able to go invisible. You'll be able to do more damage. Plus the suppression, like you said before, also stuns overload champions. All right, our third fragment is going to be Echo of Starvation. Picking up a void breach or an orb of power grants Devour, which ties back in to our artifact perk that we're going to be using as well. So we'll get Devour. We'll end up giving our teammates Devour. So all we'll be doing is being invisible and healing, invisible and healing, invisible and healing, overshield healing, invisible, creating ammo. It's just very synergistic with everything else that's going on. And then our last void fragment is going to be Echo of Vigilance. Defeating a target while your shields are depleted grants you a temporary void overshield. You're out of invisibility or you're just getting pelted by an enemy. Your targets are low, you end up killing them. You get a void overshield. You can run in, you can finish the other guys that are in there. You can go invisible, rinse and repeat. This is once again another way you're just going to keep an overshield up and stay invisible and just rock all these enemies' worlds. All right, guys, and this is the biggest part of the build, because not only are you going to be doing a lot of damage with your wave splitter, you're going to be invisible so you can go for the revives. You're going to keep an overshield so you can just survive. You're going to be throwing your deadfall so you can be bringing everything together and just causing a debuff on all of them. You're just going to be destroying things, but also play a really big support role. The Aeon Swift Gauntlets. These are really good, amazing, team building, team helping exotic. So you have 3 different kinds of mods you can choose with these. The mod we'll be using is the middle one, the Sect of Insight. Successive precision weapon takedowns have a chance to drop an orb of power for your allies. So you'll be creating orbs for your allies to get all of their abilities going, to get their supers back, to get whatever builds they have charged up and going, just by getting a bunch of precision takedowns, which you'll be able to do easily, whether it be with your wave splitter, with your primary, in my case the 𝕃𝕀𝕍𝔼, with your type hand, with whatever weapon you're using. But the caveat is, when you use your finisher on an elite, you generate special ammo for your fire team. When you use your finisher on a boss or mini boss, you generate heavy ammo for your fire team. Nearby Aeon Call allies who do not have the scout, the Sect of Insight role equipped also gain a bonus to weapon damage for a short period of time. So what this is, you go in, you finish one of the yellow bar enemies, you get everybody to whittle them down, you go in, you get invisible, you finish them, you create special ammo, you keep those special ammo weapons going. But the big thing is, you go in and you kill mini bosses, you kill bosses, you run in, you finish them, and you're just going to be creating heavy ammo over and over and over again, so they can just go and spam their rockets, they can go spam their heavy machine guns, they can go spam their linear fusion rifles, so they never have to worry about running out of heavy ammo, and you can just melt everything on the field. And at the same time, if anybody else has decided to run the Aeon Gauntlets, whether it be on Hunter, Warlock, or Titan, anybody that's running them but is not running the ammo getting perk is getting bonus damage for a short period of time. So you're creating ammo, you're getting bonus damage, you have more than one person running this, they're getting bonus damage. It's just absolutely phenomenal. It's great in a teamwork activity like Grandmaster Nightfall. And as you can see with some of the footage that I have running behind me, you're just going in, you're killing everything, you're just destroying everything, you're keeping that supercharged battery going, you're just doing heavy damage to all kinds of enemies. Yes, I know you're gonna say, Sim, you're running a lost sector again. I know it's just the easiest way to get in there solo and start killing things and just show you the power of what it can do when you're just moving up and you're in a teamwork situations where you're just not melting everything down as a team. It's just gonna be phenomenal, because you actually will be melting things down as a team from all of the teamwork capabilities in with this build, plus the super powered overpoweredness of the wave splitter being fully charged at all times. You can see we're going invisible, we're finishing enemies, we're creating that overshield, we're creating orbs, we're getting void breaches. It's just a constant flow of destruction and ammo creation. All right, let's get into the armor mods. And first and foremost, guys, your general armor mods, like I always say, it's whatever you need to help get your build to where you want it to go, whether it be 100 discipline, 100 recovery, 100 resilience. I always recommend 100 resilience, 100 discipline. As you can see in this build right now, I have 100 resilience and 100 discipline. It is what you want to shoot for at all times. With this build, you want the 100% resilience just so you can have survivability. You want the 100% discipline just so you can have those suppression grenades at hand, so you're constantly suppressing enemies, you're constantly keeping them from firing at you, you're constantly keeping them from doing craziness to you, and on top of that, you're able to cause constant overload champion stunnage. So it's just 100 and 100. Now if you want to, you can add a little bit of mobility, try to take away some of the intellect, try to take away some of the strength. The third build thing I would build into this would be mobility, so you get that vanishing step back a little bit quicker, you get that other invisibility method back a little bit quicker. You won't necessarily need it because you will be constantly going invisible anyway, but it is nice if you do have that built in. But like I was saying before, going into the armor mods, we'll start with the helmet. I have special ammo finder, increases the drop chance of special ammo on kill, so this way that you have constant special ammo for your wave splitter. And then on top of that, I have special ammo scout. When one brick of ammo finder perks creates a brick of special ammo for you, it also creates a brick of special ammo for your allies. So not only am I creating special ammo for myself, but I'm creating special ammo for my allies. And then at the same time, don't forget, I'm also creating more special ammo with the Aeons, but I'm also creating more heavy ammo with the Aeons. So I am just producing ammo all over the place for me and my teammates to where we can keep those really, really damage dealing weapons going and just constantly burning enemies down, team firing, destroying things, going in there, finishing, creating more ammo. And then plus the special ammo finder and scout will do the same thing as well. And then I added a void siphon on here as well. So the rapid void weapon final blows create an orb of power. This way I'm creating more orbs of power to where I can, like I said, keep that supercharge up on the wave splitter and just keep doing damage over and over and over and over again. All right, into the gauntlet armor mods. First, I have bolstering detonation, which grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. So we'll be throwing the suppression grenade. We'll be getting some ability energy as we do that. Focusing strike grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a melee attack. So we're going to be using our melee right there. The enemy almost has the finish. You can't finish him at. Boom, you do the melee, then you end up doing the finisher. You get more class ability when you do that as well. And then I have void loader because I am using void weapons. I am using the wave splitter. So if I don't have that auto reload that happens with a wave splitter, I can reload it super quickly and keep that damage going while you have the supercharged battery active. And also my heavy is going to be void as well, whether it be the type hand or rocket or machine gun. So you'll constantly be able to keep the reloads going and keep the damage and output going on. As for the chest piece, I have charged up, which increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. To me, this is vital because then this way you keep the armor charges up, you keep the breaches, you keep filling up the armor charge. You just constantly keep that overshield on you. Just charged up is just a great perk. And then you can also do any kind of damage resistance you want to. You can use melee resistance because you will be going in for those finishers. You can use concussive dampener. You can use depending on what kind of activity you're doing. And it's like, say it's an arc surge and arc destroys you or whatever, put on arc, whatever you need to do. But basically the main one that I say you should definitely 100% have is charged up on the chest piece. All right, let's get into the leg armor mod. So for this one, we're going to start out with Innervation, reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. You'll be creating all those orbs of power. Your teammates will be creating those orbs of power. So you'll be able to keep those grenades going. So you'll be constantly suppressing your enemy. So constantly doing damage and creating void breaches. Filling up your armor charges, staying invisible, getting overshields. I'm a broken record by now. You see what this is doing. Then I add 2 void weapon surges. Your void weapons gain a small bonus to damage when you have an armor charge. Your armor charge now decays over time. So be building that armor charge. You have that supercharged battery on your wave splitter. Now on top of that, you have your void weapon surge. It's just going to create crazy amount of damage while that wave splitter is at full power. Plus, if for some reason you don't pick up an orb and it's not at full power, at the same time, it's going to be creating near full power when you have that. It's ridiculous. I think this is a must-have, but if you want to go to change it to anything else, you can always go to stacks on stacks, which 1 orb of power grants you an additional armor charge. But honestly, I like the 2 void weapon surges over that, but you could change out one of the void weapon surges for stacks on stacks to give you more armor charge as well. But I do believe you keep enough armor charge as is with this build that you don't need it, but it is a viable option if you want to. And then lastly, for the armor mods on your class item, your hunter's cloak. First and foremost, we have powerful attraction, which has become one of my favorite mods that they've brought out this season. Automatically collects orbs, nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. This means you activate class ability, you get those orbs, you get that supercharged battery, you get your breaches. You know what I'm going to say. So it's just really good. Getting those orbs of power always coming towards you, always grabbing them if they're just right out of your reach. It's just an amazing, amazing mod. I use it almost every build now. Reaper mod, after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. Another way to create an orb of power. Use your class ability, you kill an enemy, you get an orb of power. You start the cycle all over again. And then lastly, bomber. Reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. So you already have the hunter discipline, but this with along some of the other mods that we've been using, you will cool that grenade down even more. You'll keep your suppression grenade at hand. You'll keep those enemies from doing what they do. And at the same time, you will be stunning overload champions. And this is absolutely key. Get your grenade back super, super, super quick. And I think that's the one that I would use the most on here. You could always do like empowered finish because you are going to be doing a lot of finishers. You create another armor charge. But honestly, I think the ability to get that grenade back a little bit quicker is a little bit more viable in the situation. But if I was to use anything else, it would be empowered finish. And there you go, guys. There's the build. That's the build right there. It is an amazing build. It's a build, like I said, I used for last season Grandmasters. It's what I'm going to use for this season's Grandmasters. It's what I'm going to use for future Grandmasters. because not only are you doing out major damage with the wave splitter, nearly always being at full power, and you're also able to knock down barrier champions and overload champions in multiple different ways, whether it be through suppression, whether it be through finishers. I just think it's a great build. Like I love this build a lot. Plus, it's a very synergistic build. It's a very team-oriented build. Aeon Swifts to me are just amazing. If you ever run into a game or a Nightfall, you LFG it, or you have some friends and they run Aeon Swifts, give them a kiss. Say thank you. You're amazing, because it's very much a thing that not a lot of people use. They just want to use something that does maximum damage, maximum things that make their build better. But honestly, Aeon Swift is something that's really needed in a Grandmaster, just for the simple reason is that it keeps everybody in ammo. And then it allows you just to burn down with that rocket launcher or that machine gun. Plus, it keeps you in ammo, especially if you're using a lot of specials. And I know a lot of people now use a lot of double specials. So to me, this is not only my favorite Grandmaster Nightfall build, this is the meta Grandmaster Nightfall build if you are a Void Hunter trying to do those Grandmasters. And like I said, guys, since you're here, just hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell when I do the next build. But I will let you know, please leave a comment down below. I do respond to all comments. Tell me, Sim, you messed up. Why are you using this perk? Use that perk. I don't like this build. Why are you doing a second Void build? I thought you said the last one was insane, and now you're saying this one's insane. Tell me what build you want to see next. Tell me what you would do instead. I answer every comment down below, and I am trying to push for 1,000 subs, so it would be greatly appreciated if you could hit that sub button if you stuck around this long. Sorry, English is hard sometimes. And like I said before, I do stream on Twitch up to 5 days a week. I've cut it back a little bit to focus a little bit more on some YouTube videos, but you will catch me over there playing a lot of Destiny, maybe a little Tears of the Kingdom, and a little bit other variety of games, but mainly Destiny right now. So I would like you to come over and hang out, run away with me, hang out. Let's go do a Nightfall. Let's go do a Grandmaster. You said, Sim, this is a great Grandmaster build. Let's do a Grandmaster. Show me. Come hang out. You'll see the description. You'll see the link in the description below, and also below somewhere here on the screen. And yeah, that's it. That's the build. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you guys next time. Your old boy, old man, Sim out. Peace. Oh, he just fucking made me do a fuck. That's how I dance in real life, bro. Just like that.